Hey there, hi there, ho there, and hello there. Welcome back to another exciting edition of the Cardinal Couple Radio Hour podcast, where we give you the joy and excitement of U of L women's athletics. We have a strong crew of three in here today. Jared is a Jared has gone to Cincinnati for some reason. I don't know if he's going up to watch the Reds or whatever, but he's
I hope not for his
not
sake.
with us. Yeah, for his sake. Yeah, it's going to be a boring trip if he did. No, I think his old buddy Mike Gilpatrick up there has got a son that's got a 1 year old now, and they're going to have a birthday party, and that's fine and good. And I know it's how many 1 year olds are you going to bring in for another 1 year old's birthday, and then how do you keep them all quiet at the same time, right? Anyway, best of luck to Jared up there. Hope he has a fun time, and certainly love the photos he takes. We appreciate those, and I'm sure he was busy out there last night, wasn't he, Daryl?
Oh yeah, he had plenty to take pictures of. Which I didn't notice the new little end zone things they have down there in front of oh my gosh, where Gary the Redbird and the defense guy. Have you all noticed those seats on the field?
Yeah, those are new additions this year.
Yeah, I don't know about that. It's kind of weird, but anyway, so I thought was looking for Jared, and just lots of recruits down there on the field. You could tell. I mean, on the way in, I saw Coach Kelsey on his golf cart hyping up fans. So there's a bunch of other coaches from our program out there hosting people because they were honoring like the volleyball team, the soccer team that defeated number one Stanford yesterday during the day. Just lots of teams out there celebrating and getting honored in those breaks. So I know Jared had plenty to take pictures of.
Absolutely so. And you'd mentioned soccer; they're off to a very good start at 6-1, right?
Yep. I was talking about the men's team. They actually beat number one Stanford yesterday.
Oh, men's team. Okay, yeah, I didn't even notice that. Yeah, good win for them then. Wow.
That's because they played at 11 a.m.
I was wondering what the heck had happened.
So Jared and I talked about this a little bit at one of the women's games. And so the men's soccer game was scheduled a long time ago when the ACC soccer schedules came out for last night. It was their ACC opener against Stanford. And then ESPN said, hey, by the way, you guys have this game against James Madison on either Thursday or Saturday, whichever one it was. They said, we would like to flex that to Friday Night Football. So they did. And Louisville said, hey, ACC, what are we doing about this soccer game? And the ACC was like, man, I don't know. You got to play it on Friday, though. I don't know why. I don't know why they didn't say, yeah, you could play it on Thursday, you double header it, you could play it on Saturday, whatever. Nope, they're like, you got to play it on Friday. So
can you imagine if that was going on over at Lynn across the street from the football game?
Well, so that's why they moved it, because they're like, we can't play a soccer game.
Yeah,
like it's not possible. It
would have been cool.
You can't make it work.
Why?
Logistically,
what's holding them back?
Logistically,
I think parking might be a main concern for that.
Yeah, they do.
And
they
also use the soccer stadium. So that new tent, if you've seen it at Lynn Stadium, the new tent and chair setup, they utilize Lynn Stadium as the away team tailgate zone.
What?
Like they make that available to them, so that they have a space.
I did not know that. That's almost sacrilegious.
I think that it's okay because it gives U of L fans more. Like they don't have to take any of the parking lot space. They don't have to take somewhere away. And you put them behind a wall, right? You don't even have to see them. You don't have to think about them. But well, so they moved the game.
Out of mind.
So they moved the game to 11 a.m., which is like, okay, sure, I guess. Except you're playing Stanford. It was at 8 a.m. Pacific time.
Their time. That's what I was thinking. I was like, oh my god.
And they probably came in Thursday night. So just a brutal.
This is what you get for coming to the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Yeah,
Think about it.
Yeah. But anyway, Cardinals greater than Cardinal on that one. Louisville upset number one Stanford.
Those two East Coast schools that we love so much, Stanford and California, right?
And Louisville. When I think of the Atlantic Coast, I think of Palo Alto, California, and Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah, absolutely. The Ohio's part of the Atlantic, isn't it?
If you think about it, really, it is all continuous. It goes from the Atlantic through the Gulf up the Mississippi to Ohio. We're on the Atlantic Coast.
Geography is hard.
Yeah.
Constantly changing.
Oh.
On a
So, Jared,
long enough timescale, every part of the United States will be on the Atlantic coast.
oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Alaska Anchorage is going to join the ACC, and they'll be there also. Yeah,
It'll just take them 2 days to get here before anything happens.
doesn't matter. They're going to come in. They're going to say, "Okay, we'll give you a half," and then Louisville will somehow manage to trail them at halftime, and then they'll win in the second half.
How many
Very simple.
How many Bush planes would they need to get an entire college football team from Fairbanks to anywhere else?
Oh my God.
They're
There's
gonna,
logistics for you.
they're going to put them on a train, Case. It'll take a week.
Is there a train that goes to Fairbanks?
Yeah, sure there is. Right up the Canadian coast. No problem. We'll get them there. That are maybe 20 semis,
Yeah.
with trailers. But in any event, got Case in the house, Daryl in the house today. We've got 3 today with me, Polly, and this is we like to do kind of catch up with the gang throughout the week and see what's been going on with them. Case, what's been going on with you this week?
I didn't have to drive anywhere this week for work.
No trips to Lexington or Nashville or Knoxville? Or
I didn't even drive to work because Lindsay was at a conference, so I worked from home all week. So it was an incredible change of pace for me.
Oh, it had to be. You're doing work in your pajamas. Nice work, son.
Yeah. I had to put on a polo. I had some video meetings, so I at least put on a polo above my sweats.
Just don't tell me you were sitting there in a polo and nothing else on.
No, sweats. Sweatpants.
That would be bad. Very, very bad. Daryl, what's been going on with you this week?
Yeah, I was gonna say we actually have 3.5 because Lulu's here just talking up a storm.
Well, she's got a lot to say. She's going to try to report on you, but you won't let her.
Yeah, just I think I've been reporting a little bit in my posts about how the landscape of my department is changing. So, back on main U of L campus, which means I get to see a lot of updates pretty often, which I'll share something for Monday's post that happened this past week. Not to spoil it, but they are just it actually made me gasp just walking into work this week, and they put a new mural on the side of our service complex, which is next to Houchins, and it's like where payroll is, U of L pro cards, and boring stuff nobody really cares about. But they put a giant mural on the side of it with several athletes. Like I want to say one is swimming, like a swimmer. No one in particular, just kind of like a silhouette of a swimmer. A baseball player and a football player, and just Louis is painted to the. Painted on there, just giant, and it says the Ville, and it's so cool. I can't wait till it's finished, but I'll share a little glimpse of it coming up. And it's just crazy the pace of change on campus. I know Case is familiar with the way that the speed school has been changing, and how that opened this week, and just it's wild to me because I'll go in one day and they have the caution tape up around 3 giant trees, and then I come out of work and all the trees are gone, and it's just like constant change every single day, guys. But just it's nice to be back on campus and see the excitement of students, and just so funny how I get older and all these students their ages just stay the same, so they just all look like babies to me.
All right, Matthew McConaughey.
Absolutely.
You thought we weren't going to catch that Dazed and Confused reference, didn't you?
Nah, I threw that out there on purpose.
Indeed. So, in any event, taking a look at some of the stuff that did happen during the week that was. On Thursday, Louisville brought the Golden Flashes into town, but they didn't flash too much, did they? Not at all. Kent State came in and said, "Okay, we're here," and Louisville said, "We're going to put an 8-0 beat on you. Enjoy it, and then go home." And that's what the Cards did, moving to 6-1 on a 5-game winning streak. As I like the way it was described, Daryl said it was a shot party. So, was the team actually taking shots down there on the sidelines? I mean,
I hope they probably could have got away with it.
I hope not. It could have been fun, but So let's talk about that one a little bit. The Cards, hey, I think I read this right, but they're the leading scoring team in the nation in women's soccer.
Yeah,
Is that correct?
they were entering Thursday night, and I can't imagine scoring 8 more goals would change that at all. But yeah, I mean, entering what did I say? Entering Sunday, Louisville had already matched their goal output from last season, and
Crazy.
and since then they've scored what 14 more goals. Like
Something like that.
it's it's
10 more.
it's certainly something. I can't remember how many we won by on
2 to nothing.
on Sunday.
Yep, Coastal Carolina.
Oh, Sunday was Coastal. Yeah, man. Time flies.
Yeah, seems like a while ago.
Time flies when you're having fun. But yeah, I mean, this team has certainly figured something out on offense, and it's incredible thinking to these last 2 games, even going back 3, but the last 2 in particular, they've done this winning without Nicole Jadoan and without Fina Davy. Jadoan, a freshman who had been a starter up until she took a knock last Thursday, which has held her out. Fina Davy appeared on the sideline in a boot last Thursday and has not played since. So Louisville's offense has looked a little different in these last few games, and they're still getting it done. A lot of that credit obviously goes to Amelia Swarnarski, who is near the top of the team in points, along with Mackenzie Gagley. Actually, Swarnarski might be ahead of her now since she has a hat trick. Had a hat trick on Thursday. But Swarnarski has been fantastic for Louisville. She presents the dual threat for the Cards on corner kicks, which I'm not really sure how a lot of other people haven't figured this out yet, but I continue to be amazed, either sitting in the press box or watching on TV when people are like, oh, it's Swarnarski this time. Oh, it's Huckabee this time. I'm like, yeah, guys. Louisville would like to take in-swinging corner kicks, and they have a good right-footed corner kick taker and a good left-footed corner kick taker. I can tell you who is going to take those kicks, depending on whichever side they get the corner on. You don't have to be surprised every time. Like, that's who it is. But so a left-footed in-swinging corner kick taker is a very valuable thing to have. Swarnarski has a load of assists already this season, with a handful coming from those. And yeah, there's not a lot to say about that Kent State game. I did not expect Kent State to be that bad, but Louisville just took them to task for 90 minutes.
And they were down 1 player, so I'm not sure how much of a difference that made, because they were up 4-0 before that happened.
4 then, yeah.
Yeah.
Or 5. It was 5-0 then, because it seemed like they would get a penalty to make it 6, and then they didn't get a penalty. My favorite thing: a red card awarded in the box, but no penalty. Okay.
I think you should explain what had happened, though. Like, somebody in our group chat figured out what was going on.
Yeah. So
because there was another penalty before that.
According to the rules, they had ruled that Louisville committed a foul first, which immediately stopped the play, and Kent State was assessed a red card for retaliation. I think on replay they would have said that Louisville did not actually commit a foul, but I don't think that's reviewable. VAR was being used specifically to check the red card. They determined the red card was warranted, but they couldn't change the fact that I'm pretty sure Betsy Huckabee did not foul first, but we didn't get a very long look at it.
Yeah. I think this is just another one of those games where they'll have plenty of footage to look at, and like you said, Case, it's kind of scary when you don't even feel like some of the best scorers are in for the Cards. I did check the players, the season stats for the Cards, and you got Amelia up front because she's got 19 points. She's got 5 more assists than Mackenzie, so that puts her up front, but she's got 1 less goal than Mackenzie.
Yep. I'm trying to see where they land as a player on... Oh, wait, this is... What the heck? The NCAA stats page is not updated. Last updated Wednesday, January 8th, 2025.
Excuse me?
Thanks,
Wow.
Stats
They
Page.
just might be a little bit behind
A
there, huh?
third of the way through the season.
Where's your interns?
What are we doing
Just
here?
goes to show.
Well, you know how it is. People are cutting back all around, so
Very
they're
true.
cutting back there. But up next for the Cards, bringing in Dayton. Actually, the Cards are headed to Dayton's coming in here, coming at the Lynn Stadium. It's a game tomorrow at 7 p.m. If you can't make it at the Lynn for this one, it'll be available on the ACC Network Extra. I'm not real keen on the guys that are calling these games there for Network Extra when it's a Louisville broadcast, but
Yep, bring back Whitfield and Greer, please. I'm begging.
We
Yeah, I
take
mean,
what
you
we
know.
can get, though, guys. Cutting back. I'm surprised we even get to view it.
Okay, then give us no commentators.
I'll take that. I do love a no call game.
Like these guys are brutal.
Yeah, because they are. They're not our best foot forward, as some people like to say. That's not a great representation of our program and those two clowns. But once again, it's an ACC thing. They say, "Hey, this is who you're going to get," and we're like, "Okay, those are our announcers." We did pretty good last year. What happened to them? But one of those things. What do we know about Dayton anyway? I mean, I haven't checked on them too much or anything. What kind of record have they got here? What are they doing?
I always feel like Dayton's that snaky program that could just put an L on your record no matter the program.
This is definitely the game that I was most worried about looking at the schedule in this home non-conference stretch. And I don't necessarily think that has changed. Louisville has obviously been very good this season on offense, but the competition has not been very strong. So that take that with a grain of salt. Dayton so far this season is 500, 2-2-2. They have not won a game at home. They have not lost a game on the road. They opened the season at Wright State with a 2-0 win. They followed that up with a draw at then number 12 Michigan State 0-0. Pittsburgh went into Dayton and beat them 3-0. They played at Western Kentucky and won 1-0. Then their last two matches, they've hosted West Virginia and Purdue, lost to West Virginia 2-0, and tied Purdue 0-0. So offensively, Dayton's not doing a whole lot. They've scored 3 goals this year. Defensively, opposing teams aren't doing a whole lot. Dayton's only given up 5 goals this year. So
wow, this is a funny recipe coming up, huh?
It reminds me a lot of the Coastal game. It could look a lot like the Coastal game, which was very physical. Louisville struggled to get the ball moving in the midfield. I really hope we get Judoan and or Fina Davy back for tomorrow's match. It's good that we got Carson Cherry back. In the last game, Brooklyn Lee returned for the first time since going out ahead of Vanderbilt in limited minutes, but still good to get her back on the field. And so if Louisville can get back to full strength, I like their chances to be able to win this game, but I think it could be tight, and they're definitely going to have to be on the top of their game to not, like Daryl said, to not get surprised and give up a loss here.
The Cards did meet them back on September 8th of 2024. Dayton getting a 1-0 win over Louisville. Looking at the series is 2-4, and the Cards, this is a school that's not a part of any major conference, but somehow Louisville just has a hard time, getting it done against them. Going back and taking a look at the history against Dayton. Yes, we have won the last 2 against them. I guess that's a good sign. But Or am I reading that backwards?
I was going to say we have not beaten them in a while, if I
I'm
recall.
on I'm on the Dayton website. I'm sorry about that. Dayton, Dayton, a team that I'm not sure what kind of strengths they've got on this club. All I know is that when they beat us last year, basically it was let's go down to concession stand and spend a long time down there because this is boring. 1-0.
Yeah, Louisville couldn't Louisville couldn't score on a brown paper bag last season, so um, I last season and this season are drastically different from the way that this Louisville team is made up. But like I said, Dayton is a very strong program, at least when it comes to playing the cards. They're a very regular opponent for us. Played 18 times since 1985. Louisville is 4-13-1 in those games. They lost the first 8 matches against Dayton. So 4-5-1 in the last 10. But it's not been great. Yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. This would be a good opportunity for Louisville to start to eke back towards 500 against Dayton.
It is a scoring team. Let's hope that they can keep it up because right now they're leading the nation in doing that against everybody. And the Flyers probably will come in and say, "Hey, we got something to say about that." Should be a fun one to watch if you go out to it locally and watch it at Atlanta. Certainly, I think that we need a good turnout for this one. Let's see if we get one.
I'm a little nervous about this one, guys. It's just this last one of this, 6-game homestand that we've been talking about for a month. And I hope this team isn't I hope they are, but aren't looking ahead at the ACC already and letting this one sneak in because I think we've covered it. Dayton is a sneaky team, and they are kind of a little bit of a rival for the Cards. We're very familiar with them in many programs, and like Kay said, they kind of had our number there for a while, so they could do it, and that would be a great win for them.
This has certainly been a stretch that has been good for the Cards at home, and they will, unfortunately, after the Dayton game, go down to FSU. FSU, usually a pretty decent program when it comes to women's soccer. And then after that, bringing in Virginia Tech and then bringing in Clemson and bringing in Miami. So, boy, a lot of home cooking there, gang.
Yeah, nice little trip to Florida.
Yeah, go on down in September when I'm sure the beaches are pristine and of course they're a ways away from Tallahassee, but anyway.
Yeah, get down there and get back where we got some bigger fish to fry.
Absolutely. Clemson looks to be all that this year. I mean, they're just a pretty incredible team. So we hope that they'll do okay. We wish them the best of luck, and they'll move on from there. And we'll move on from there too. And let's take a look at field hockey, shall we? Cards field hockey. Well, it's Justine Sari has been a good coach for a very, very long time. There's no doubt about that. And with the team that she's got this year, there may be some question marks here, but certainly, Case, what are you seeing out of field hockey this year?
Well, similar to soccer, this team has shown a much higher propensity for scoring than they did in last season, especially. Looking back at last season was the first time since 2018 that the Cards did not start at least 3-0. So Louisville's looking to do that. Get back on track with that if they can win today. That match currently ongoing against Drexel. If they can win today, they will move to 3-0. And, the scoring has gone primarily through Riley Wallerton. She has 5 goals already for the Cards this season in 2 games. But that said, it's a much smaller sample size. You look at women's soccer; they've played 7 games. They've scored a boatload of goals. You can say, yeah, they're capable of scoring. They've not been scoring a lot against higher quality competition. They've had some games that they didn't score quite as much. But if you can have a game where you have 33 shots, I don't really care who the opponent is. That means you're getting pressure on the ball. It means you're getting pressure in the final third, and you're able to convert those into shots. 33 shots, only 16 on goal, and only 8 goals on Thursday night. That's a little bit concerning. It's a 50% scoring rate on shots on goal, but you'd like to convert more of your total shots, especially putting more shots on frame. But on the field hockey side, it is a much smaller sample size, only 2 games. I think maybe Michigan State isn't as good potentially as we thought. I don't know that Louisville has shown necessarily that they are, 5-1 over a middle of the pack Big Ten opponent just yet. So maybe Michigan State is not middle of the pack, or maybe Louisville is that good. Seeing them play against Drexel right now in their first true game on the road, albeit neutral site, but their first game away from home, they haven't scored in the first quarter. First quarter is going to end, it looks like, here at 0-0 for both teams. And so it would be a lot better for the Cards to be showing some scoring against a Drexel team that had a very good season last year with a disappointing finish, losing in the Colonial Championships. But they have not looked very good this year. So if Louisville were quite as much better over last year than as we thought, I think they would be showing more against this Drexel team so far.
Darryl, when we look at this team, Riley Wallerton standing out again last year, she actually had a career high 7 goals and led the team. This year she's already up to 5. Just kind of talk a little bit about how important she is to what Justine Sowry's doing out there.
Yeah, when you have that one player that can spark some offense and then perhaps spark other people's offense, may it be by pulling defenders and making space for other players to get some shots and score, then that's a huge asset, and anybody would want that. You mentioned 5 goals already this season. Seems like things are clicking, and we could use that. I mean, looking at the schedule ahead, and I'm looking at that big one with Northwestern coming up in a few weeks. So we just definitely want to get as many goals as possible, get that offense flowing, because it's going to be needed here. And you can't be winning, or you can't be scoring 4 some odd goals against teams like Northwestern. You got to have, as many as we have so far. 5 goals against Ohio, 6 against Michigan State. That's great, but got to get the offense flowing, and Riley's definitely doing that so far.
And Rise, they like to call her on the squad. I'll have my rye with ham and Swiss, please. No, but Rye actually
Not fish?
No, not fishing right yet. No, it's not Friday. we eat that on Friday, Darryl. Today we have to have our rye with ham and Swiss, and maybe just a light spreading of mayo. I don't know. Some people like mustard. It's up to you. But
Paulie's ready for lunch.
I am ready for lunch. There's no doubt about that. And but take a look at what she did. This is a girl who scored 139 goals during high school.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, just think about that. I mean, what kept you from 140, right? Come on, you're not keeping up. No. That's just an amazing thought to me. And wasn't she
Quick,
starting
Case, do the math.
in the 4th grade? I mean,
do the math for us, Case.
On what?
The how many goals per season average?
Oh,
if she did 39 and
that way, yeah, it's just like 35 a season, right?
Yeah. Something like that. 35,
Okay,
36.
now per game.
I don't know how many
What's that,
games play in high school.
Oh, yeah.
12?
How many games
Probably what, 12 to 14?
12 games, yeah. So
Say
probably
12.
3 goals a game. average. So
Okay, girl.
But
Yeah.
certainly, one that we're happy to have on campus for sure. And I think that when you look at this Louisville team, some of the things that they can do coming up, and this is certainly going to be, quite the test for them. They got IU. Always somebody who's given the Cards a bit of a hard time. With Drexel, obviously, today at 11 is that they're playing right now, and I haven't seen an update on that. Has anybody got a
0-0.
let me
Three
bring up the live?
minutes into the
Yeah,
second quarter.
I'm bringing up the live stats on that right now. You're right. So
Emily Young just saved a penalty, which Sidearm has incorrectly identified as a penalty kick. Wrong sport, Sidearm.
That's why it's sidearm.
We need stat broadcast in here. Give us.
yeah. I'm looking at that now. They said it was a penalty kick.
Yeah.
By Drexel. A kick in soccer, in field hockey.
If they took a penalty kick, I think they would have yielded a penalty.
Yeah, I mean,
ironically, that's how that works in field hockey. So
sometimes the players will kick the ball and discuss after the whistle stop, but certainly nothing you'd like to see out there during a game. But so Justin Terry got a team here that I think could make a difference in the ACC. But when you take a look at some of the things that are going on in the ACC and field hockey, obviously the Cards not up there in that rare air yet, but not bad.
Yeah, since joining the ACC, Louisville's been roughly 500 every season up until last year. Last year, the first year with the expanded conference, and an opportunity we would have expected for Louisville to finally break that 3-3 streak in conference play. And unfortunately, last year the wheels just kind of fell off for this team, and I don't know that we really have a good understanding of why that happened. The personnel seemed like they should have been able to at least hold serve with what they'd been doing in the past, but just didn't turn out for the Cards. A season that ended below 500, and just 1-7 in conference play. So looking to the ACC this year, you just say, okay, can we get back to 500? Well, you could. You could finish 4-4, which I think would be, maybe they've had 4 conference wins in a season. If they have, I think that's the most. I'm pretty sure they haven't had more than 4 ACC wins in a season. So if they can get back to 500, then you would say, yeah, that's a pretty successful year. That means if you beat Stanford and Cal, then that means you also took wins over 2 of the other traditional ACC teams. If you look back at prior to the league expansion and you say, well, you were able to get 3 wins against those ACC opponents before, now you've added 2 teams that you should be beating in Stanford and Cal. All of a sudden you're saying, well, we should be getting 5, potentially 6 wins in conference. Certainly not 1. And so, yeah, I think everybody is kind of on pins and needles, hoping to see that last year was an aberration and not something that is going to be continued, and not a slide that Louisville needs to pull themselves out of.
This one, of course, going on up in Bloomington, Indiana, where the Cards have traveled up there to, as they like to do a lot in field hockey, have a 2-game, set when they play anywhere. Usually the home team that's hosting it, and then somebody else that they brought in for it. The Cards will actually face Indiana tomorrow at noon, and then of course playing, on 11 a.m. today. The game's already going on against Drexel. Just back to back on that. A lot of times we'll see a Friday Sunday mix on these, but it's certainly something that the Cards will try to do the best they can on it. They were able to beat Michigan State, so
Yeah, you look at the kind of 3-team round robin layout, and the hosting team is kind of always going to get that priority. Two teams are going to get screwed. Two teams, no matter what, if you're playing 3 games total, 2 teams are going to play on back-to-back days. So Drexel got to play IU yesterday. They're playing Louisville today. IU, as the hosting team, gets that advantage of having today off. They played Drexel yesterday and get Louisville tomorrow. So, yeah, it's unfortunate for Louisville, but they're going to have a lot of games this season where one game is going to feel like 2 or 3 because of the competition. And so having an early season matchup like this where you get to say, all right, you had travel day yesterday, early morning today, short rest. They could have played tomorrow's game later. It's a short drive for Louisville. They don't have it's not a getaway or something. So, I don't know, Bloomington, IU could have done Louisville a little bit of a favor and made it like a 3 p.m. start, but it is what it is. I think Louisville has plenty of conditioning. I don't know that Annabelle Sepp will finish this weekend with 240 minutes after having been the only field player with 120 through the first 2 games. But yeah, it would be great for Louisville to be able to pull out 2 results in these matches, and would show that they do have the legs for some of those more intense competitions in the future.
And Daryl, we take a look at one of the most important things that you can have in field hockey is a good goalie. Obviously, someone who can prevent the other team from putting the ball in the back of the net. Emily Young's a sophomore, and she's looked great so far. And did we lose Daryl?
She's on mute for some reason, but maybe she had to step away. But yeah, Emily Young has looked very good. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, she's got a save on a penalty in this match already today. On the season, she's got 2 starts. I said that she had 120 minutes because that's what the stats said, but when I pull up the actual player stats, she only has 110. I knew that Alessia Sakudo had gotten into a previous game. But she's got 4 saves, has allowed 1 goal, that coming against Michigan State. The defense in front of her has been very good, and it has prevented Young from facing a terrible number of shots. She's only faced 5 shots. Even with the number of corners that opposing teams have put together, Louisville has been able to block them away well and prevent them from earning very many shots off of those corners. So, very strong effort from Young so far, and hopefully, like we've talked about, a return to a position of strength for Louisville in seasons past, and somewhere that they've been floundering a little bit since COVID, when COVID kind of derailed the career of Sam Minrath, and put Louisville on this path of searching for their next career goalkeeper. They've had some good performances from transfers, but those 1-year rentals are hard to build a team around, and hard to get consistency out of at one of the most important positions on the field.
I like that phrase, Chase. 1-year rental.
Yeah.
You
haven't heard those? They talk about those in transfers all the time. It used to be that you would talk about them for grad transfers, but now people talk about them for all kinds of players.
It's a great point that, it's hard to build a team and around somebody when that's very important positions aren't very consistent.
Of course, after Drexel, the Cards will face IU on their home field. The Cards actually lead this series by an enormous amount, which really kind of surprised me. But they have an 18-7 lead in the overall series. Last time the 2 teams faced was the Cards played them in 2023 and beat them 1-0. So luck against the Hoosiers. Which does that surprise you to have that big a record over a Big Ten school?
Maybe a little.
Not the team being IU. IU is not known for their Olympic sports in most cases. Um, so I think we look at regional rivalries like this one, and you say, well, yeah, you're gonna have a lot of opportunities to beat them, and IU's program playing against the Big Ten was not one that a lot of people were flocking to. If they were going to go play Big Ten field hockey, they're like, I got to deal with the weather. I'm at least going to go play somewhere good, right? They're going to play at Northwestern. They're going to play at Michigan, somewhere that you think of as more of a traditional power, Iowa. And so Indiana's like, yeah, we're okay sometimes, and they've been getting a little bit better just as the rising tide lifts all ships. Has improved the quality of field hockey kind of across the board. But Louisville had a lot of seasons where they were very good. And it's like, yeah, we're going to play IU because they're close. And because it'll look good because they're technically a Big Ten team, but it's a little bit more, had been a little bit more of a bunny back in those days. Now, IU's a lot more competitive. It's definitely a match that I am more concerned about this year than I would have been 3 or 4 years ago. But, yeah, we'll see.
And, of course, the Cards are still undefeated against Kentucky in field hockey, too.
Yeah. Winless, but undefeated.
Yeah. And, let's obviously, field hockey is not a big sport in the SEC, okay? But will the Cats ever pick it up? No, I think they'll just be content to shoot rifles.
Does the SEC sponsor field hockey?
I know there's a couple field hockey teams in the SEC, right? I mean, certainly Vanderbilt, right?
They may be SEC teams, but that doesn't mean they compete in the SEC in field hockey.
Oh, no. Probably in a different league,
if you recall, women's soccer for Kentucky was not in the SEC for a long time because the SEC did not sponsor women's soccer. UK competed in the Big East.
And I think, that's true. So, good luck to the Cards. Hopefully they can pull this one out today and then, of course, knock off IU again on Sunday.
The SEC does not sponsor field hockey at the varsity level.
Daryl, let's take it to another wide net, but this one's indoors. And we're going to go take a look at the volleyball squad. 3-0 so far. A nice start for them under their new head coach.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? Being in the not having any skips in the program. Business as usual for them, and some good wins so far. I mean, got that Auburn win last Friday, and then they got another one tomorrow at the Yum Center, which is like a big draw, I think, for the program, for fans, and definitely for downtown. They love when the squad heads down there, and not a terrible opponent, Illinois. It'll be an ESPN production, so it'll get a lot of eyeballs on it, and just probably a nice little I don't want to call it a practice run before they head to play Texas in that showdown thing, but it'd just be nice to get the bright lights on the squad and get them in a big arena before they had to get a rematch with the Longhorns. I think the last time we played them was that championship match where we got swept. So nice to get another shot at them. It's going to be a late one on Wednesday. So just props to Coach Dan and his squad for not skipping a beat in the coaching transitions. And I think I'm just thinking about volleyball, and there's been some shakeups in college volleyball. Last night, I think I saw Kentucky took down Penn State, and then they faced Nebraska last week, and we were getting a little nervous about that one too. So just volleyball around here is quality and still just a great product for people to enjoy, and the Cards are still on top.
Cards going to take on, of course, Illinois in the next one. Uh, and basically, Illinois is 1-1 on the season. Okay, they
2-1 after last night.
2-1 after last night. You're right, yeah, because they were 1-1 over the weekend, and of course, losing to SDSU, which is I think is South Dakota State University.
Not somebody you expect to sneak up on a team in volleyball.
No, you don't. No, I mean it's not anybody that I would call that an upset in many terms, but they did come back and beat Vandy. But Vandy's never really been a powerhouse in volleyball either.
They've never really been a volleyball team for 45 years.
Yeah, so they're back, and yeah, they're in the process of trying to build a program down there. So good luck to them, for sure. As they, one of the things that I love about this team is that even though, and a lot of people were resentful that Danny left, I don't hold any resentment against her. She played at Nebraska.
It was always in the prophecy. It was always written in the cards.
Yeah, if you were upset, if you're a Louisville fan that was surprised, then I have thoughts. If you were a Louisville fan that's upset, then like I don't really know what to tell you. It was Danny Busman Kelly was always going to Nebraska when whatever his name. I continue to forget his name because it's no longer relevant to my brain. But when he retired, Danny Busman Kelly was going to Nebraska as long as she was successful at Louisville. And after 2 seasons, everybody's like, well, yeah, successful. And so, for me, I was just hoping that Louisville would get a championship under her before that happened.
And it was supposed to happen last year. It was supposed to happen, guys. I'll never, ever get over it.
Yeah, it was written in the cards, pun intended, and yeah, it just didn't.
Injuries.
It just didn't, and maybe it was some fates looking out for Louisville fans to say, look, it's going to sting even worse if she leaves right after you win the championship. If they win the championship and then 2 years later she leaves, that's one thing. But if Louisville wins the championship last year and Danny Busman Kelly's like, see ya, that would have hurt. I would have understood, but it would have hurt. So maybe the volleyball gods, as it were looking out for us and saying it'll come, but not right now. You don't want it right now. But Dan Meskey, a big part of the staff, pretty much the coach in waiting. If Louisville, if it was much longer before Danny Busman Kelly took the Nebraska job, Louisville was at risk of losing Dan Meskey to another program. He was going to be a head coach, and it was either going to be here or it was going to be somewhere else. So if she had been at Louisville much longer, then that head coach in waiting might not have turned out, and his ties were not nearly as strong to Louisville as hers were to Nebraska. So it's not like you just get to play that coaching carousel game. So I think that Louisville is in very good hands still with Meskey. He's all over social media. He's kind of an anti-Danny when it comes to being camera ready, being excited to talk to the media, being excited to hype the fans up. No knock on DBK, but she was obviously a lot more reserved. She just kept to herself, and she did what she did in her winning ways, and that was fine. I was disappointed she didn't wear the sparkly red blazer against UK. I really thought she was going to do it, but she didn't. Oh well.
That's probably what made it go to 5 sets.
I know, she should have worn the sparkly red blazer, and they would have beat the crap out of them.
She forgot where she came from.
Or she was like, no, I have to go to 5 sets with UK. I'm contractually obligated to go to 5 sets with UK.
Yeah, I've got to qualify because the
concession
stand sales are low, and they need to get up the concession stand sales.
I have to do it. I always had to do it at U of L. I had to stress everybody out. Might as well keep doing it in Nebraska.
And they're already all red, so
exactly.
I think there should be no bad taste in the mouth of anybody for when it comes to DBK. She left this program better than she found it. We should be eternally grateful to her. We've said it so many times. I know I have, that I know she was prepping Dan for that job, and we should be completely grateful to her for that. And you're so right, Case. I didn't even think of that, how if she would have stuck around, we might not have had him. So that would have been a huge loss and might have caused insane disruption to the whole system that they had built together. If she would have stayed and he had moved on, who knows what kind of disruption that would have caused. It might have actually made us knocked us back down a little bit, and then maybe her job for Nebraska wouldn't have been there. So just, yeah, great point.
I think the Nebraska fans pegged it right when I used to call her the lady in waiting. And she was waiting, and she finally got what she wanted there.
Another thing to consider too is that, if people are upset, if they feel like she was always looking at Nebraska, I don't think that's fair to Danny either. Her heart was here as long as she was here. She was giving her all to this program, and you can't look at the results and say, well, she could have done more, right? Like, she took us to our first Elite Eight. She took us to our first Final Four. She took us to our first championship appearance, and then she almost took us to our first championship.
That's all you can ask for.
I mean, it's literally she's just going up the steps. UK skipped a bunch of steps. They went to like their first Elite Eight and won their first championship all at one time. So like,
don't make me puke. Don't remind me.
But they've not been like.
Danny should have got one before they did. I'll say that.
They've been good since then, but they have not had that repeated success. They've not.
Right. So you're saying the 2020 season was a fluke? Great, I'll go with that.
Well, I mean, it was COVID, so who could?
I think it was.
Who could argue it wasn't a fluke?
Gave it to Kentucky.
But yeah, I mean, she was, as long as Danny was here, she was giving everything to this program, and so far from what we've seen from Dan Meskey, that's true of him as well. He seems to genuinely enjoy this program, genuinely enjoy these players, and to be very in tune with the fans. He knows Louisville already. And they put out a video saying, "Come out to the Yum Center tomorrow. You don't have anything else going on." It's true. You don't have anything else going on tomorrow. There's no NFL team here. You don't have to pay attention. The only other sport that's being played tomorrow on campus is women's soccer, and that's in the evening. So, yeah, he gets it. He's clearly part of this program, part of this team, and an integral part of the makeup, and has been for the last few years. And now it's just him at the helm, and Louisville's been strong so far. They didn't play great opponents to open the season, but
they haven't been beat yet. They haven't lost a set.
Haven't dropped a set, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about Illinois. Illinois is always a little bit of an interesting team, especially this this weekend is a bit funny. They get to play the ACC travel partner schedule, because they played Notre Dame Friday night, and then they are coming up to Louisville tomorrow. So a little bit of Friday Sunday action against two ACC opponents that a bunch of other teams will also get that treatment this year. Pretty much any team that Louisville plays at home will also be playing Notre Dame at home that weekend. So yeah, they have 7-set wins, 6-set losses in this season. So no sweeps in either direction for Illinois yet. Louisville will be looking to make that not true after tomorrow. I think the Cards will be looking to go to 12-0 in set scores, and like Daryl said, start to prepare for that Texas match.
After that one, the Cards will head to Fort Worth, Texas, and take on a couple of worthy opponents indeed in Texas. And they'll play them on a Wednesday, and then have to wait till Friday to play Creighton. Interesting timing there on that one. They're actually going to go play Creighton at the Open Omaha. So they go out there and learn early. But looking back at Danny and what all she did and the things that she got accomplished here, one of my favorite Danny stories is when Jared and I were on campus a couple years ago interviewing a couple of players. We didn't even ask to talk to Danny. We set it up through Nancy Worley, who was the SID for volleyball, and we'd like a couple players. Well, I'll see if I can get them. And then at the last minute, she said, "Yeah, I got them." So we're down there, and we're talking with the players and having a great time. And Danny's kind of standing in the background listening. And once we finish with the players, she looks at us and goes, "You don't want to talk to me, do you?" We're like, "Well, no, we didn't plan on it." She goes, "Thank God," and turns around and walks back into the court. So it's
Well,
one of my
coach, we'd love to. No. Okay. All right. Bye.
it's one of my favorite Danny stories. It's like, well, Danny, we could talk to you, but you could like hide behind a pole or something, and it would be our anonymous interview.
You don't want to talk to me, do you? Are you offering? No. Okay, then I guess no, we don't want to talk to you.
So it's amazing how she would, instead of coming up and complimenting us on the great interview we did with our two players, she's like, "You don't want to talk to me, do you?" Oh my God.
Do I
No.
get to leave now?
Yeah. What? And nobody invited her there in the first place. We were there to talk to the players, not her. But anyway, best of luck to her in Nebraska. Hope she does well out there, except when she plays Louisville. So we'll hope that goes well. What other things we got to talk about, gang? Anything else going on here?
I don't think so.
We got college football starting today, or
Some women's basketball news, I guess. If you want to touch on that.
Yeah, let's just go ahead and close out with that case. What do you got on that?
Yeah, so the ACC schedule came out. So Louisville women's basketball's full schedule is all the way out. So a lot more to talk about in the upcoming weeks for that one before maybe in some of those weekday games when there's weekdays when there's not nearly as much to talk about. But the other one that I wanted to bring up was Laura Ziegler, who has been announced to be playing in the 3x3 Euro Cup. Louisville fans will be very familiar with players playing in the 3-on-3 format. Ziegler will be competing for Denmark. Who is hosting the event. Two other former cards are playing in the event. I don't think anybody would have expected the teams that they are playing for. I will tell you the player. You tell me what European country you think that they are playing for in this 3x3 Cup. We'll start with one that's a little bit easier. Not because of the relation, but because of the country. Nina Rickards. What team is she playing for in the FIBA 3x3 Euro Cup?
Wow.
It is a primarily English-speaking country.
Well, I'd have to say Great Britain then, right?
It is. It is Great Britain. All right.
Nice.
Next, Erica Carter. Your hint for this one: the country starts with the same letter as her first name.
Armenia.
Nope.
Ethiopia.
Her name starts with an A.
Argentina.
That is not in Europe.
Oh, no. It's a Europe country.
It's a Europe Cup.
Okay.
What I tell you in the beginning, Case, geography is hard.
Yeah, who's in Europe?
Not
France?
Afghan. No, that's
Nope.
Middle
Starts
East.
with an A.
Yep. You guys give
No. E-O. Oh my God.
Azerbaijan.
I think.
Oh, that one. I was gonna say that next.
Yeah, that was on the tip of your tongue. It was coming to
Yeah,
you.
that's the one I was trying to say.
You had me stumped on that one. I got to admit it. I couldn't have got that one, but
Not sure what relation either of those players have to either of those countries, but there you go.
it's a chance to go ahead and play. And
Exactly.
there they go. But hey, we've already rolled up on the noon hour here. It's been a fun broadcast. Certainly covered a lot with you all, and so we'll kind of transition, not transgress. We'll transition to our final thoughts. Daryl, why don't you go ahead and start us out this week with final thoughts?
Yeah, just the cat's meowing at me. She's got some final thoughts too. She's excited for basketball. Got our our conference schedule out, like we talked about, and just excited for all the fall things. I might light a fall candle today, guys. I think it's time.
Is Lola, getting enough cardinal exposure is my question.
She actually, the football posters you get at Kroger, I got an extra one for her because she is a paper kitty who, like, if there's anything paper, she has to lay on it. So she's been laying on her schedule, and she has a Cardinal stress ball that she's been batting around all week. So she's all in.
Let's just get her down there on the sidelines with the cheerleaders in.
She's a big fan.
Fun. Case, what do you got for me?
Yeah, I am looking forward to the last game of the homestand tomorrow for Louisville women's soccer. We'll be out there um, supporting them. It will be one of the few remaining home games I'll be able to make it to. They have a lot of Thursday night home games that I have other obligations that'll keep me away from. So looking forward to tomorrow's match against Dayton, and hopefully they can end this homestand on the same high that they've been riding for the first 5 games of it.
Dayton has been a sticky wicket in the past. Let's hope that we can get by them and get this one. As for me, just kind of happy about the way that field hockey is playing so far. Certainly, it's going to be a good test for them up in Hoosier land, but hopefully they can come through okay. Just a memory I have from many years ago. Uh, we were out driving with my late mother-in-law one day in southern Indiana, and we were kind of talking about some things. And I said, "Have you ever seen the IU campus?" And she said that she hadn't. So we went ahead and made a nice little trip over to IU and looked around the campus. And guess what we found out? Louisville was playing field hockey that day there. I said, "Well, we got to go see that." Sonny was like, "Well, whatever." My mother-in-law was not real excited about us, but when we got there, we had we were dressed in neutral colors, and the lady goes, "It's $5 to get in." And we're like, "We're Louisville fans," and she looks at us and goes, "You came all the way up here for this?" We said, "Yeah, well, yeah, we're here in fact. We're in neutral colors. Don't worry." And she was like, "Well, if you're Louisville fans and came all this way, I'm not going to charge anything. Just go on in." So a very nice memory of that one there, and we did win the game that day too. So uh, that's going to do it for us as far as another episode of the Cardinal Couple Radio Hour podcast. Thanks everybody for listening, and as we like to end, go Cards.